Alright, so today we're going to go over Cardinals, what's best used for each different situation you're in. A lot of times for stuff like castles, particularly when you're defending, obviously you want to have a army cardinal going. Depending on what your troop type is, you can match up with the incoming hit. So if you know, say for instance, that there's a lot of spear, a lot of knights, and some cavalry. So if you're archer, or maybe even cavalry, well, not necessarily cavalry, but siege for a hit like this, um, depending on what you have in your full defense and how the numbers stack up, if you're archer or something that's going to do a lot of damage to that high amount of spear, you can run an army attack for your troop type. If you're, however, say you are cavalry, you want to run something with either defense or health, so you suck up more of the damage because you're going to get hit first, depending on what your total defense is. So, those are some things to think about as far as defending goes. Your typical raid setter cardinal is going to be Theon because you have that high attack addition for when you're attacking and raiding. You have the March head count bonus, which will give you some more troops. And then, of course, the raid troop head count. That will help with your attack, especially if you're counter to the troops that are inside. If you're not counter, you want to run someone like Gerda because you'll have that extra health, you'll have the extra army offense for the raid, which stacks. So your troops will survive a little bit longer, and they'll deal out a little bit more damage. And you got the March head count there, which is always nice. So if you're a troop that's being effectively countered in a raid, you want to have that health and damage bonus along with the March. Those all help out if your troops are being countered in an attack, or in a raid, if your troops are highly countered with what you're attacking, you want that health bonus. Same with the attack. It will help overall. Obviously, defense cardinal is also good if you don't have the chance to use a health cardinal. That's just kind of an obvious. It's either defense or health, depending on the situation. And of course, your original starting cardinals, the ones that first came out, they have the 60% bonuses. If you're not able to use your better, higher bonus cardinals, go to using them. And remember, think of the counter troops. If your troops are going to do well in the hit, then use the attack. If you're countered for the hit that you're trying to make, you want to make sure to use health or defense. Those are two very important things. Player versus player raids are a little bit different because you want the troop specific bonuses. So if you're an archer, obviously ranged. If you know that your troops are going to do well offensively and they're high counter to what you're hitting, you want to run the offense. If they're not, you want to run health or defense. A lot of times you can use the army bonuses, but typically for a player versus player raid, you're going to want the troop specific. It's going to perform better overall because all your bonuses are troop specific. Castle gear, your focus is army bonus, so use stuff with army bonuses. Just, take a look at the incoming hit or figure out what's going to work best for the situation you're in and your troop type. That's very important to keep in mind. And of course, sometimes VIP level and your foreign studies are going to come into play. Um, that's something for a whole separate video because, depending on what trees you've got and how far along, you're going to have different bonuses depending on your troop type and where you're at, your VIP level, which, again, also very important, especially further into the game. The stronger you are overall, the more troops you have, the better you're going to do, and the better your order is going to do. So the quicker you can get your VIP level up, the further along you'll get with your foreign studies because you'll be earning more trophies. And then as you finish your studies, you're going to, again, perform better. But your first primary focus is definitely going to want to be on your maxing out your Cardinals because those are almost just as good as having reps when you don't have reps. And just keep in mind, all that stuff stacks if you're doing a PvP raid and you're using, your range, you use this Cardinal and you get range rep. You want your strongest players on the hits that matter. If you're attacking an enemy for OVO, KVK, Rebellion, any of that stuff, you want to keep in mind your strongest people are going to get the most benefit out of the reps because they're already high up on their damage, defense, and health. So if they're using their best Cardinals and rep, that means their damage bonus is going to be even higher, and they're going to perform a lot better in that hit. So it's something to always take into account. If the battle doesn't matter, it doesn't matter who gets what for a rep, because to be honest, the battle doesn't matter. If it does, make sure that your strong people have what they need to make sure that you win the battle. Because if you don't, there's a good chance that you'll lose. I've had raids that we've done where we've bounced and we got another shot at it because the same defense got put up again, and we tweaked who had reps and who used what for Cardinals. I went over it step by step with everyone who was using what. We got everything running, did the raid. Not only did we win, but it was a epic landslide win. We killed all but maybe 10 million, 15 million troops on our first hit that we bounced. Well, on our second hit, it was so freaking lopsided that our first hit being a loss didn't even fucking matter anymore. It made up for the points and gave us probably a 30 million T7 troop lead. So you want to pay attention to all the bonuses. You want to make sure that you're making the right decisions for your battles. Don't just give out reps all willy-nilly. Make sure that the people that need it have it. That way you win the battle that you need to win.